Well, we're back here at KVMR FM, Nevada City, and I am pleased to be joined by some folks here in the studio with me today. I have three people in the studio, and I want to let them introduce themselves to you for a second. I've got Lars, Ashley, and Vince from three different organizations. And first, just before we go into the story about what's happening, introduce everyone to who you are, what your role is, and what your organization does. We'll just start with Ashley.
Thank you, Martin. So my name is Ashley Quadros. I'm the Development Director over at Hospitality House. And for anyone listening who may be unaware of what Hospitality House is or does, we are the only year-round emergency homeless shelter in all of Nevada County. And every single day, we can help house up to 69 individuals, and that includes women, children, babies. And we started back in 2005. We were a nomadic operation for 8 years before we were able to open our permanent shelter, which is known as Utah's Place, in 2013.
Awesome. Sitting next to you is Lars. Lars, tell us about yourself and who you represent.
Yeah, I'm Lars Wardegren. I'm the general manager at California Solar Electric Company, Nevada County's first worker-owned cooperative.
Oh, and you know what? Thanks for... Sorry to interrupt you. I said I was going to... I have to give full disclosure, you guys, because I work with Lars at California Solar. Matter of fact, I'm now an owner with Lars at California Solar, and I'm always reticent to bring projects that I've been involved in here on the radio, so I just wanted that disclosure there that I did provide some consultation on this project, but I'm not here to toot my own horn. Lars, go for it.
Yeah, and we've been serving Nevada County since 2000, and have been working for, gosh, I want to say about 8 years on trying to bring this dream of Utah's Place going solar to fruition.
Well, congratulations on getting to the finish line. And it couldn't have happened without some of your fantastic partners represented here by Vince. Vince, who are you and who are you representing?
Thanks, Martin. So my name is Vince Lucia, and I recently joined Good Son, which is a 501(c) nonprofit organization. And the founder, who is in Africa right now doing some good work and projects there, Eric Stykes, and I had worked together for several years and decided to move on our own here to get this nonprofit mission and dream to reality. And so really what we do is we try to offer renewable energy systems for schools, nonprofits, and other less fortunate people in our community, so that everyone can get the benefits of renewable energy. We have recently done, last year we did a couple projects, one at Bitney Prep School and the Grass Valley Charter School, and we still have some work to do at Grass Valley Charter School. And we did a project at the Yuba River Charter School at their preschool. We did a ground mount there, and we've done several projects in Uganda, Rwanda, and of course now we're all really excited to be part of the Hospitality House project here in Grass Valley.
So an interesting follow-up comment is Eric, you referred to Eric, who's in Africa right now. So you and Eric both used to be in the for-profit part of the solar industry.
Correct.
And recently have both been able to extract yourself out and get into the nonprofit, which a lot of us that are in the solar industry are always, our hearts are in wanting to make sure that everyone can have access to this. So it must be exciting to be able to push this dream of helping those that might be left out of the solar equation.
Yeah, it's super exciting, and for me, I've been in the solar manufacturing industry for probably 15 to 17 years with inverters, which is a key component of a solar system. And when I got out of that and worked for a local solar install company here in Grass Valley doing project management, it was really good for me to kind of complete my full circle of knowledge, knowing not just the manufacturing end, but knowing the installation end and what's really happening there on the roof. And now moving into this nonprofit and being able to help anybody that comes in the door and answer all those questions makes me feel really good about myself and that we're doing good work.
Nice. Let's talk about this fantastic collaboration that's happening. So we're joined by Ashley at Hospitality House, nonprofit, Lars, California Solar Electric Company, for-profit, and Vince with Good Son, a nonprofit. And Lars, I want you to start the story because I'm aware that this has been something you've been working on a long time. I think you said 8 years.
Yeah.
And this really was a personal vision for you. Is that right? Especially as you got involved volunteering at Hospitality House. So tell us a little bit about the backstory that got us here.
Yeah, in the real early days when Hospitality House, I think it was in the first year that they had opened up as an idea of being a roaming shelter. So in the old days, it used to be that there'd be different churches that would open up to take in the guests, and there would be, it might be another church that would come and make the food for everybody, and buses to take everybody around day to day. And I got involved as a overnight volunteer, which is basically I just kind of be there to help the monitor if they needed anything, and really just kind of help everyone feel at home, as much as I could. And I think, I did have a time of being homeless myself in my youth, but really during that time I was kind of choosing that, so it was a real different type of scenario. And what really struck me is on the first night that I was spending the night, I looked over and I realized that I recognized someone, and he was my bank manager. And I went up to him and said, "Oh, great, are you volunteering too?" And he said, "No, I'm actually a guest," and kind of went through the whole series of events that had happened to him, of losing his job and breaking his leg, and then his car breaks down and getting evicted from his house. And it really struck me how the Hospitality House, what it's really doing is it's acting as a safety net, our own social safety net for because really any of us just have a short stack of pink slips between homelessness. It's not just the people who are living paycheck to paycheck. Any of us are that can be a real outcome for us. And especially with the housing shortage being as it is, housing prices being what it is, media incomes being what they are, I think it's important for us as a community to really support that within our community.
And obviously the one of the biggest direct impacts of this donation is it's going to save on operating costs for the shelter. Is that right, Ashley? And so it is a direct benefit to helping stabilize and further the mission that you guys have.
Absolutely. So when you think of the solar project, it's really not just a one-time installation. While the physical work is taking place tomorrow and Monday, this gift of solar is going to give every single month. So every single month that we save $300, $400, that's money that will now be reinvested into helping people who truly need it the most. So whether it's the bank manager that Lars mentioned, the mom with 2 babies sleeping in our family dorm, I mean, it's just really quite incredible that this is something that Cal Solar and Good Sun have come together to give forever.
Mm-hmm. And so Lars, what had this project, what created this length of beginning to end for you? Because
how much time do we have? So basically, as soon as Hospitality House was able to secure a permanent facility, we went and met with the architect and builders right away to say, okay, let's do this. Let's get everything ready for it. We don't know how we're going to pay for it yet, but let's start getting everything set up. And we had put, a few days of work into kind of shoring up a lot of our anchorage points and getting everything ready in the structure for the solar. And unfortunately, it was just at a time where Nevada County decided to re-review its snow loads and had radically increased the snow load to where not only was the structure not rated for the extra 4 pounds per square foot of the solar panels, but according to the county, that structure shouldn't be standing at all. So we kind of ended up just pumping the brakes and backing away from it. A few years later, then the county decided that that structure did meet those engineering criteria. And we started working directly at that point with a solar panel manufacturer who said that they were going to donate the panels for us to install, and we got all excited. And this was, I don't want to say this is probably 4 years ago. And then the solar panel manufacturer ended up pulling away, and that's really where Good Sun really came in with their white chariot, because they're an organization that specializes in having those relationships with manufacturers to be able to get that equipment and have a clean nonprofit write-off for those panel manufacturers, and then we're able to kind of make the dream come true.
Fantastic. Well, that's a great segue then into Vince and Good Sun. So Lars, you set the stage for wanting to make something happen for solar for Hospitality House. Utah's place got built. You guys were planning, thinking ahead. But then when it came down to it, somebody has to pay for all these panels, which are expensive. Good Sun all of a sudden finally coalesces over the last couple of years into something that can push this over the finish line. Vince, pick up the story from there and how you guys really helped make this finally happen.
Yeah, thanks. So we were incredibly lucky to have a good working relationship with a panel manufacturer that has lots of panels sitting around that may have some blemishes, or they may not be perfect, so to speak, to sell out in the market. And we were able to obtain a good amount of panels and give the manufacturer, as you discussed, a tax write-off. And so because they donated them, and then we use them for projects. So, I think Eric and all of us sort of got together at one point and thought, well, what about Hospitality House? That would be a great project. We know that it was a passion of Lars, and so we sat together and made a discussion and got it moving forward. And so once we proposed it to Hospitality House, it seemed like a no-brainer at that point to get it going. And that's really what's happening with Good Sun. We still continue to get panels, and we are looking for other, nonprofits. We've got a big project on a local school that we're hoping to get inked this year as well. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And it's interesting. You reminded me of a conversation that I had with Eric. And again, folks, Eric is one of the prime movers at Good Sun, who right now is in Africa, as you said, Uganda, doing work for Good Sun.
Yes.
And as he described what you guys are doing, you mentioned a second ago that you're getting what are referred to as cosmetic blemished panels. So it made me think of the agricultural industry. There are crops that are blemished. They don't look good enough for sale. And there are gleaners that come through and get all of the fruit that normally would be discarded in food and distribute it. And when Eric was telling me about how you guys are able to work with the manufacturer and get these, it was like solar panel gleaning.
Absolutely.
Because these are panels that they might be scratched on the frame at the warehouse or a discoloration on a cell or something. They work just fine, but no one's going to want to buy them. That's what you guys are actually able to access.
Exactly, and hopefully by doing this as well, creating a secondary market, we're eliminating things going into the landfill, which ultimately I know lots of manufacturers do that. And so we're really trying to avoid that and trying to do the right thing as good stewards of this planet.
As an aside, you guys now have a brick and mortar storefront where people can come in and actually buy some of these panels for their own small home project or whatever they might want to use them for.
We do, and there's a lot of panels that we get that we can sell, and then there's panels that we get that we must donate and repurpose for projects. So that's something we've learned along the way, and so we respect those boundaries really well. But we have had a lot of people over the last month and a half come in and purchase lots of panels. 3 people came in today just for their RVs, and so little by little, and everyone that's come in has been really grateful for the service we're providing and being able to have that secondary market.
And not only that, but then when they purchase those panels for their RV, they're supporting Good Sun, which supports you and your continuing mission.
More projects, yeah. So with every project, we may get donated panels, but there's always more for every project. There's the balance of system is what we call it, the racking, the inverters, etc., wire. And so there's always this added expense. And so if we can create a revenue stream from selling used panels to purchase the inverters, the racking, and all the other stuff that goes with a solar system, then it's a no-brainer for us.
Right. So I'm glad you mentioned that. When it comes to the Hospitality House donation, we talked a lot about solar panels and getting these special panels, but there's the racks to affix them to the structure. There's the inverter, which turns the solar electricity into utility type electricity. There's the permits. There's the PG&E paperwork. There's the labor. And so how is this project working? My understanding is that, Lars, you've got a team that's going to mainly focus on the paperwork and the installation, and Good Sun is also clearly involved, but they're largely procuring the equipment. Am I couching that correctly? I mean, everyone's working together, but Good Sun, you guys need to move some of these panels to generate the revenue to then buy some of the other equipment, because you're not getting everything donated for a solar installation, just the panels.
Correct.
So how is this? Can you name all the partners that are helping make this happen and give them a little shine? Because clearly Cal Solar is doing a lot of work. Good Sun's doing a lot of work. Who else is helping donate, or where are the panels coming from? What other people? There's even anonymous donors that have helped make this happen, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. There is an anonymous donor that's donated some money to us as well, to Good Sun, so that would help with some of those material costs. Some of the vendors have given us a really good deal on the parts because they know what it's for. So that's been really helpful for us as well. And as far as the logistics of who's doing what, we sort of had that nailed down in the beginning, and we did write it up. I believe that will change from project to project moving forward, depending who we're working with, and we may learn a few things over the next couple of days, as always. But
I'm sure.
Because there's student local schools are getting involved, right?
Yeah, so to kind of zoom out a little bit too, I think one of the, and this is one of these great things that also really fits super well in the fact that we just became a co-op, because we have these different principles of both supporting the community and doing education. And I think that, when we first talked about the idea, it's like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could do something that was, really like empowering the homeless, like here we are where we can like give the homeless shelter power, which then circles back to more services, more meals, more beds, a more sustainable operation of something that's so critical in our community, but also being able to kind of circle back and do both education with the guests, because the title of solar installer is one of the hottest jobs in California right now. I think it's either number one or number two as far as in the construction industry, as far as the most needed within the state. If we can give the guests also kind of a shoe in the door of giving them a class, showing them how to do that, giving them a sense, teaching them the lingo, kind of getting them that kind of first step towards that employment in the fastest growing industry, that's a huge boon for them. But not to mention, we also there's a number of local schools that are starting these different internship programs, and they have a solar specific program at SAIL, at Sierra Academy
for expeditionary learning.
Yes, thanks. That we're able to actually bring in those students too and start getting them fired up and kind of get that future generation also pumped on an idea of a job that outside of a college degree, because the thing is college has also gotten so expensive that we also need to really start focusing on creating pathways for our youth in our county that they don't end up at Hospitality House. We need to give them a sense of what a job and a career path can really look like in the renewable energy sector.
So this project has been, as listeners now know, a long time coming, and it's happening tomorrow. Is that right?
7:30 tomorrow morning.
So there's going to be people from California Solar Electric Company. There's going to be people from Good Sun. There's going to be folks from Hospitality House. There's going to be guests at Hospitality House and people from SAIL also there. So it's going to be quite a group of folks all together making this happen, learning from it. And Ashley, tell us a little bit about all the attention that you guys are getting. I think, did you say that CBS from Sacramento is going to be doing a live report from the site tomorrow at 8 and 9? Is that still happening? Is that real?
Yes, that's still happening. It's Good Day Sacramento will be out, and it will be 2 live shots. So, yeah, if anyone listening right now is going to be home tomorrow at that time, you can tune in and actually see the construction happening live, and also see live Lars giving demonstrations to our guests at the shelter, and also the students from SAIL. And the students especially are so excited. And Lars didn't mention this, but it's so important that it's this demonstration tomorrow that he's willing to give over a course of 2 hours is very thorough, and it's really just the beginning. So Lars and I have talked a lot in the last several weeks, and he's offered to even extend a full apprenticeship to our guests. So people who come tomorrow, if they're motivated, if they're inspired, if they think, this could be a career for me, Cal Solar is willing to give them that training.
Wow. This is a just amazing project from beginning to end. And Ashley, I haven't given you enough time to tell your side of the story now. Was solar even on your radar when you were approached? How did this come onto your desk, and what did you think when this first came to you? Did it seem too good to be true? Or?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate to say. It was a phone call from a representative from Good Sun, and it was just very hard to believe that somebody wanted to come in and have a meeting and talk free solar. And when you say free solar, you kind of wait for that catch. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But that's really the beauty of this story is there was no catch. It truly was Good Sun and Cal Solar coming for just the common good to help our shelter out.
And how did it grow into working with the guests in SAIL and turning it into not just hey, we're going to install this and then we're done. You're planting a seed that might grow for students and kids. And was that something that any of you had already planned? Like, we're going to make this an example. Or is that a Good Sun policy on every project? Or did this just sort of blossom and bloom as you guys got closer to the day?
I think it developed fairly organically.
Mm-hmm.
Good Sun, Cal Solar has hired some of our guests in the past, so it was already a natural fit to extend that further. If I'm speaking for Lars, okay to say that.
Yeah, that's fine.
And SAIL, Hospitality House already has a good relationship with SAIL as well. Part of their curriculum every year is to come and tour our homeless shelter and to have a heavy emphasis in their second semester on homelessness and understanding what that really means in our community. So they come every year anyway, and we have a good relationship with them, and we know that part of their curriculum is to become solar certified by the end of the year. So I think just in being communication, talking with them, and his name is Travis Duckworth, one of the teachers over there who leads solar and woodshop, that it was just a natural fit to see if they wanted to help volunteer and also learn some new skills in the process.
And for those not familiar with SAIL, it's a high school, so we're talking about high school-aged youth that will be looking for careers and moving on to college. So it's just a fantastic story. I'm so grateful that all of you were able to come together and make this happen. I mean, a lot of times I'm reading news that's far away, and I just love having stuff that's local and real people in. We're just about out of time, so I want to make sure I give each of you just a moment to make sure that the listeners know how to get a hold of you or your organization if they wanted to ask questions or support either this project in specific or anything in the future. So, Ashley, what's the basic contact info for Hospitality House, and how can people get involved? You always need volunteers,
We always need volunteers, and we also always need financial support. We heavily are based on private donations, local people in the community who just care about our cause and want to see us sustain indefinitely. So if anyone is listening that wants to learn more about this project or other programs that we offer, I invite you to visit hhshelter.org.
hhshelter.org. Okay. And then Lars, California Solar, any wrap-up comments or anything if people wanted to help support this project or any other future endeavors or talk to you about internships or?
Yeah, you can certainly give us a call at 530-274-3671, or you can find us on the web at californiasolarco.com.
And Vince, contact info, phone number or address even for the storefront. How can people get a hold of Good Sun?
Yeah, so like Ashley stated, we too are also looking for volunteers all the time to help with these types of projects and donations as well. And anybody could visit our website at www.goodsun.life and sign up there or make a donation on the website as well.
And the storefront, you guys are just past the NID headquarters, is that right?
We're across from the cemetery where the old, there was a Tacky But Nice and a U-Haul building there. We're in that storefront.
Okay, right at the corner of, what is it, Squirrel Creek
and
right
Rough
there?
and Ready.
Super, goodson.life.
Correct.
Okay.
Can I just I just want to make one other little plug. We do have for those of you that have teenage 16 to 18-year-old kids, boys or girls, we also have an internship program that we're collecting applications for. That we have relationships with a lot of the local high schools, but if you have if you know of a teenager who is kind of looking for that kind of opportunity where they can come for a day a week and we start teaching them the whole trade start to finish, we do have an application process that's going to be closing here pretty soon, and they should definitely stop by our showroom located next to the post office in downtown Grass Valley.
And phone number 274-3671. And this
Correct.
isn't just talk, right? Because you guys had an intern last year from, what was it, Bitney Springs?
Yeah.
And he now is an employee. You hired him and he works at the company.
Yeah, correct.
So it's not just, hey, come and we'll have you clean up and then bye. You're serious about this.
No, it's something where, we really try and, with our interns, we really try and get them within that high school time to where they can graduate high school with a journeyman electrician's license and one of the highest solar accredited certifications that they can get, so they can really get that high paying job when it comes time for college.
Nice. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on the air. My name is Martin Webb. You've been listening to the Energy Report on KVMR FM, Nevada City, KCPC, Camino, Placerville. Perhaps you were streaming live at kvmr.org. Either way, we're glad that you're listening. We hope you tune in every second Thursday from noon to 1 for the Energy Report. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Lars. Thanks. You, Vince, for coming in.
Thank you.
Really excited to see this project go down tomorrow. If people wanted to cruise past Hospitality House, is it okay to do a looky-loo drive-by, or do you really want people to stay the heck away while it's happening?
Oh, no, come on by.
So tomorrow, Hospitality House starting at 7:30. And it's going to be on CBS Good Morning. Wait, what is it?
It is CBS. It's
Good Day
Sacramento.
Good Day Sacramento. Okay, well, stay tuned because we've got the flea market coming up next. You're tuned to KVMR FM in Nevada City.
Stronger than one fate.